Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Please feel free to write to me at walkwithtak@gmail.com if you have any question regarding to this video or any other videos that I have posted in the past. If you have any videos that you would like me to make, please let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. For me, the most important thing about home cooking is that to be able to cook anything you want and to be able to cook at any time. And the best way to cook very spontaneity and with intuition is to use a wok. Now, I've mentioned before that wok has many functions, but one of the functions that I really enjoy using the wok with is to boil things in it. For example, like in making soup. Now, making soup is really quite simple in a wok, because a lot of time you need to cook different soup ingredients in such a way so that it will go with the recipe. Now you can do all this in a wok. Now in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to create a soup which referred to as Suan La soup, or frequently referred to as hot and sour soup. Actually, the word Suan La means sour and hot, so actually it's better we'll call it hot and sour soup. Now this soup is relatively easy to make, and it is a soup that comes from the western part of China, which is the Sichuan province. And Sichuan province is well known for food that is spicy, and so this really fits into the scheme of this cuisine. Now this soup originally actually started out as a soup called Suan La Tang. Hu means a pepper, so this soup actually is made with hot pepper, which like a white or black pepper. But however, recently when this soup came to United States, it has been transformed with hot chili pepper instead. But of course, there are different many versions that you can create this soup. Now, making a soup in a wok is great. And in this particular case, I'm going to make this soup in my cast iron wok. Now, I normally do not use my cast iron wok, but for making soup, it is great. Now this soup has one of the key ingredients is pork, and the pork that I use usually are pork loin and is cut into thin slices. Now I usually cut up the pork loin first, and then I'm going to freeze it, and I freeze it in such a way that I freeze it in a very thin layer. Now in this case I slice them, but when I cook it, which I will show you later, I will cut them into strip. So when I'm ready to use this pork, all I have to do is put it in a bowl of lukewarm water. And after I leave in the water for about maybe a couple minutes, it softens the texture, I will bend it in such a way. As you notice that now by bending, I basically separate the pieces from each other a little bit more, and that makes them to thaw out much faster. Now this soup also contains another key ingredient, that is mushroom. You can use any kind of mushroom that you would like, but the mushroom that are most frequently used in this soup is shiitake mushroom. Now shiitake mushroom usually comes as dehydrated. Now actually there's a little trick I'm going to show you how to soften the mushroom. Now usually you have to soak the mushroom in water for up to about maybe 4 or 5 hours. But there's a little trick. By pressing, look at what I did in the middle of the mushroom, by pressing the mushroom buttons, what you will find is that it somehow softens the middle part of the mushroom and it allows it to absorb water much faster. When I use this method, I'm able to hydrate the mushroom usually in less than about 30 minutes. Although not all of them work like this, but most of them do. And when you use this method, you don't have to plan ahead as much as otherwise you have to think ahead before you try to use the shiitake mushroom. Now this shiitake mushroom comes in many different forms. When you go to a Chinese grocery store, you will find them. They comes in different sizes and different variations. Once you have softened it, the first thing you do is that you cut out the middle part of the mushroom, and which is the button of the mushroom or the stem, and then you cut them into thin slices. Now, if you cannot slice through them, that means that they are not hydrated enough. As you can see in here, they cut up very easily. Now, another important ingredient for this hot and sour soup is to have tofu in it. Now, again, you can use many different kind of tofu, but the tofu that I really enjoy most is silken tofu, which is a very soft tofu, and it tastes great in the soup. So all I have to do is to cut them up into strips. Again, you can use any type of tofu that you would like, but the silken tofu is the one that I usually prefer. But they're a little bit harder to get. You can just use the regular firm tofu or extra firm tofu. They will work out great as well. And some people actually prefer the firm tofu over the silken tofu. Okay, so now we are ready to cook. The nice thing about the wok is that you can cook everything in the wok. So the first thing I do is that I'm going to stir fry the pork first. I cut the pork into thin strips so they will fit nicely into the soup. As you notice that it is very convenient that you can cook now everything all at once. And I also stir fry the shiitake mushroom together with the pork. But I'm going to get the pork done a little bit first before I add the shiitake mushroom. I use my cast iron wok. Of course, you can use any wok that you would like. Normally, I will use my stainless steel wok because the problem is that if you do use a cast iron or carbon steel wok, is that it has a tendency to remove the oil film that's accumulated on the surface of the wok from your previous stir frying. And that oil film is very important in protecting the wok against rusting. So the best is that to use a stainless steel wok, which this reason I prefer stainless steel wok more than any other type of woks. However, I have a free cast iron wok which I don't use, and my wife always keep looking at my cast iron wok and try to convince me maybe they should go to Goodwill. But I love my cast iron wok, partly because I really like the form and the shape of the wok. They are truly a work of art because the entire wok are cast into a single piece, and including the handle. It's make them really very attractive. Okay, now I start to add water to create a soup. I have stir fry everything together. And again, the pork is the most important thing that you have to make sure that you cook it properly. The mushroom only need to cook very slightly. I'm going to season the wok with my wok with tak basic seasoning mix. Actually, this seasoning mix works really well for creating a soup. It gives a nice umami flavor. I really find that it makes a huge difference. If you have that seasoning mix, you can try it in soup and you will find it really delicious. So next, I'm going to add some hot sesame oil. And again, you can use regular sesame oil as well. But since I have that, it will help me to enhance the spiciness of the soup. Again, you can add as much or as little that you want, depend on your personal preference. Now, then I'm going to add my red chili pepper paste. Now, this red chili pepper paste, again, you can add it to how much that you want, and it's very much up to you. Now, some people at this point also add pepper. And pepper actually does a really good job as well. You can add things like white pepper or black pepper. But the original version of this dish, which they call it Suan La Tang, they actually use white pepper instead of using hot chili pepper paste. Now, a lot of times, some people also add hot chili oil. Again, it's completely up to you. But I think the best is that to keep the flavor as, at least from the chili side, keep it as simple as possible. Just give it some hot flavor because the soup already has some great flavor come from the pork, the shiitake mushroom, so you really do not need to add a whole lot to it. Now I'm going to adjusting the flavor, I start to gradually also add the tofu to it. Now the tofu can add way at the end because you do not have to cook the tofu. The tofu is already cooked. All you need to do is to warm up the tofu. Actually, I personally prefer to add the tofu way at the end so that I will not break them up too much because sometimes it is nice to have the tofu in a whole piece. Now for the sourness, I'm going to use a Chinese rice vinegar. This Chinese rice vinegar, you can purchase it on Amazon or at any Chinese or Asian grocery store. It's the typical flavor that you will find in that sourness. It's kind of like a Balsamic vinegar, because it is relatively heavy, it is not particularly sour, and because of this, it gives very nice flavor to the soup. Again, you can add it according to your taste, how much that you would like. You can add as much, as little as that you prefer. Okay, for the next step is I'm going to create thicken the soup, and the way how I'm going to do is I'm going to use cornstarch. I'm going to start out with a cornstarch slurry, which I will use about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to about 1 or 4 tablespoons of water, which basically is a 1:2 ratio. You can adjust the ratio as you like. But the important thing is that make sure you shake up the cornstarch, and so that the suspension of the cornstarch is evenly distributed in the cornstarch solution. I will add a little bit at a time, and you stir it as you add the cornstarch, and this way it will allow you to adjust how thickness that you want. The finally is to create an egg drop soup. Basically, I beat up some egg, and then I add a little bit of egg at a time, and with constant stirring, it will allow me to create that egg drop texture for the soup. Now basically, you can continue to make adjustments on the thickness of the soup that you want. If you think the soup is not thick enough, then you can add a little bit more of that cornstarch. And again, the egg, I usually use about 1 egg. You don't really need a lot of egg because it can come up really, really fast. So that is about it. That's how you make this soup. And at the end, I garnish it with a little bit of chopped scallion to give it a little bit green color. And that gives the soup a nice appearance. So as you can see, you can create this entire soup in a wok, which is really nice because it makes it much easier and it saves time. And as you can see, it is not that really difficult to make this soup as well. And again, you can adjust the ingredient. Instead of chicken in pork, you can use chicken. Okay, so I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routine using my fast cooking system. If you'd like to learn more about this cooking system, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. So keep on cooking, and I will see you tomorrow.